Welcome on the cosmic atom. Who told you that time was your adversary, when in reality, it was your disguise? Allow it to settle for a second, because selected ones, there's a reason why people gaze at you as if they've discovered a flaw in the matrix. Why do people mutter behind your back, as if you had a secret potion or prohibited knowledge? You do not look your age. You do not act your age. And let's be honest, you don't even feel your age. And this is not an accident. It is by divine design. Here's a fact to ponder on. The human body is made up of 37.2 trillion cells, each of which has experienced spiritual battle, betrayal, profound solitude, and pain. Most people would not survive. Nonetheless, you continue to shine, remain appealing, radiant, and stand. Now, let's get genuine. While your peers moan about back trouble, early wrinkles, and midlife crises, you look like you drank from a fountain. What the heck is their skincare regimen? Plot twist. It's called the healing, hydration, and Holy Ghost enhancements. So let's get started, because in this video we'll explain why your appearance and age are startling people into silence, and why your presence is beginning to reveal all they thought they understood about time, beauty, and divine preservation. Buckle up. This is not service level. You're going to discover that your reflection isn't just defying time. It means revealing the truth about who you truly are. Number 1, you reversed biological degeneration by spiritual connection. Most individuals strive to seem younger by concentrating on the exterior. Creams, procedures, filters, and workout programs. They feel that youth is something that can be painted or injected. But selected ones behave differently. Your youth is not derived from what you put on your body. It comes from what you let to pass through it. While the rest of the world was consumed with looks, you concentrated on alignment, namely spiritual alignment. It reset your whole system from the inside out. Your cells, skin, and energy. They're not just surviving. They are vibrating at a greater frequency. That is why people are confused. They're seeing your face and attempting to perform the arithmetic in their thoughts. But the figures do not add up. They're gazing at someone who is officially older, yet has the shine of someone just starting their prime. They cannot understand it, because it is illogical. It is spiritual. You've tapped into something most people don't think exists, and the evidence is all over your body. You don't just look nice for your age. You seem unaffected by the normal wear and tear of life. Not because you haven't experienced hell, but because you didn't remain there. You recovered. You let go. You confronted your darkness rather than hiding it. That inside work sent messages to your body. We are secure now. Your body reacted by renewing rather than degrading. What they are really witnessing is the product of a soul that decided to align rather than comply. That is an uncommon radiance. Not because it is impossible, but because so few people really achieve it. Most individuals burn out while pursuing affirmation. You went within, becoming a conduit for truth, calm, and divine timing. That's why you don't age like them. You are not maturing according to a worldly clock. You are maturing on a heavenly timescale that increases purpose rather than subtracting years. And that sort of beauty does not age, fade, or die. It develops. Number 2, you have mastered emotional alchemy. That is why you do not display trauma on your face. Most individuals, whether they know it or not, show their anguish on their faces. You can see it in the way they walk, the way their eyes avoid contact, and the way their skin tightens after years of grief and wrath, betrayal, and disappointment. Trauma does not merely exist in the mind. It embeds itself in the body. But you selected one. I didn't let it happen. You endured the type of suffering that should have left lasting scars. You were lied to, deceived, abandoned, and, in some instances, totally destroyed. But you didn't keep that anguish in. You altered it. You alchemize it. And that is why you do not wear it while others remain bitter. You opted to process your feelings rather than bury them. You confronted them. You sobbed while no one was looking. You yelled silently. You prayed with your whole spirit. That kind of emotional honesty is uncommon, and it was what rescued you. Instead of hardening, you softened, but with strength, not weakness. You got honest with yourself, and sincerity resets your neurological system, face, complexion, and presence. It isn't only beautiful, it is serene. That's what has folks confused. People are accustomed to seeing aging combined with resentment. But when people look at you, they see clarity. They perceive tranquility. They don't know what to do with it since they've never seen anybody your age be so emotionally light. They anticipate destruction. They anticipate stress lines. But you perform the inside work. The glow you have is the outcome of what you let go of, not what you hung on to. You may have been chilled. You could have shut everyone out. But you choose to keep your heart open and not let it be mistreated. That decision did more than simply preserve your soul. It rewired your biology. That's why you don't resemble what you've gone through. You digested suffering and transformed it into knowledge. And today, just your presence says volumes. You did not age due to trauma. You surpassed it. Number 3, you halted time when you stopped acting for the Matrix. Most individuals age quickly because they're always performing for systems that were never designed to be peaceful. They wake up every day striving to meet society's standards, impressing, conforming, and surviving. But you, the chosen one, made a decision. Most individuals seldom attempt to create. You've ceased performing. You disconnected from the Matrix. You stopped seeking acceptance from a world preoccupied with appearance and noise. When you'd done that, something unexpected occurred. Time no longer ages you in the same manner that it once did. When you stopped pretending to be the person they wanted you to be, your energy stopped seeping. That energy, which had previously kept you trapped in survival mode, began to return to you. You were no longer exhausted by phony relationships, meaningless competitiveness, or continual comparison. That tranquility you tried so hard to keep didn't simply benefit your head. It started repairing your body while others wore themselves out trying to be accepted. You choose isolation, clarity, and sincerity. And this decision actually halted the aging process. You were not caught up in the soul-crushing cycles of social climbing, overachieving, and trend chasing. You rejected the world's definition of success and preferred alignment above performance. Because of this, your face seems rested. Your skin seems relaxed. Your presence does not seem frenzied. People can't put their finger on it, yet you seem unaffected by the tension others consider usual. They don't realize that you paid the price for that calm via isolation, rejection, and beginning anew. However, the outcome of that sacrifice is that you are not aging in the same manner that they are because you are not carrying the same burden. You're not trapped in the cycle. You're not on the same time. You have recovered your time, energy, and identity. And it's written all over you, while others have burnout performing. You tapped into something heavenly just by existing. And that is why people are astounded when they see you. You don't appear like someone who followed the rules, and you didn't. Number 4, they assumed that as you got older, you deteriorate. But this is your ascension gateway. They expected your radiance would fade with time. They anticipated your confidence to dwindle, your body to betray you, and your significance to fade quietly, just like everyone else who peaks early and fades away. That is the screenplay that society has written for the majority of individuals. You shine, and your toes begin to fade in your 30s, becoming undetectable in your 40s and beyond. But you selected one that absolutely broke that narrative. As you grew older, you became more dangerous. Not because you tried harder, but because you stopped trying entirely. You stopped looking for affirmation. You stopped shrinking down to fit in. And the inner liberation began to radiate forth. Your posture has shifted. Your tone intensified. In reality, your presence became heavier, but in a manner that elicits respect without having to demand it. You developed into yourself. You stopped apologizing. And year after year, instead of breaking down, you burst through. They didn't comprehend that your youth wasn't your last shape. It was only a blueprint. You weren't designed to fade. You were designed to unfurl. So they're seeing you enter what they expected to be your decline, only to learn they're gazing at the main event. That brightness, that elegance, that assurance. It did not stem from merchandise or accolades. It comes from surviving, mending, and recognizing your own value, without the need for anybody else's approval. They don't understand how someone who has gone through so much can yet seem so strong, grounded, and magnetic. But that's the point. You did not age. You climbed. You discovered dimensions of beauty, intelligence, and vigor that did not exist in your youth. They only emerge after the fire, following the rejection, following the rebirth. You weren't merely intended to get older. You were destined to become. And now that you've come, you're not just looking fantastic. You're looking amazing. Number 5, you didn't simply save yourself. You regenerated. The majority of people believe that the best you can do is slow down the aging process. Perhaps cling on to what you have and hope for the best. But you selected one. Didn't. Please hold on. You reversed the harm. You did not freeze yourself like some frozen facsimile of your former self. You rebuilt yourself from the ground up. That's the bit that has folks confused. They anticipated wear and tear. They anticipated you to emerge from those storms looking tired and weary. Instead, you seem to have been improved, as if time had paid you back in interest. And this is the reality. They will never comprehend. It wasn't the skincare. It was not the gymnasium. It was not good genetics. It was the loneliness. It was those lengthy periods of quiet when you felt disconnected from everything and everyone, wondering if God had forgotten about you as they ran away from stillness. You were buried in it, and it almost destroyed you. But it did not. It refined you. It reawakened aspects of your spirit that had been slumber. You didn't just recover emotionally. You initiated profound cellular regeneration by achieving spiritual alignment. Stress wears people down. Self-abandonment undermines their aura. But you chose the road of seclusion. And instead of becoming bitter, you allow it to make you holy. You looked within and discovered your strength. You reconnected with the source, redefined your value, and destroyed every false identity you were compelled to adopt. Whereas the process was not attractive. It was lonely. It was quiet, yet holy. Your body sensed it. You emerged from that solitude gleaming, not just intellectually stronger, but also physically changed. You do more than simply look nice. You seem unaffected by the catastrophe you endured. This is what regeneration looks like. Not a return to who you were, but a metamorphosis into who you were always intended to be, while others crumbled under the strain. You are being reshaped silently. Now your presence speaks by itself. You aren't merely surviving time. You are rewriting it. Number 6, you refuse to succumb to resentment, and it shows bitterness. People age more than time ever could. You can see it in their eyes, the dullness, the weight, the way their face harbors every resentment, as if it were part of their identity. Bitterness seeps in, gradually hardening the heart, tensing the body, and leaving an impression on the skin. Most individuals have no idea it is eating them alive, but you did, and that's what distinguishes you. You had every reason to let it in. People deceived you, abandoned you, lied to you, and attempted to break you. And no one would blame you if you became frigid. But you didn't. You declined. You decided to safeguard your soul at whatever cost. Not for others, but for yourself. Because you knew deep down that harboring animosity would cost you more than anything they did to you. You didn't want to become a walking wound. You didn't want to grow up to be someone who smiled on the surface, but was secretly fuming on the inside. So you let go? It wasn't easy. It was required. That decision cleansed your spirit. And when the soul is pure, the body reflects that. That's why you don't just seem youthful. You seem light. You do not bear that much weight in your jaw, your shoulders, your eyes. You seem to be at ease. Not because life was fair, but because you refused to let it contaminate you. You learned the importance of surrendering, guarding your frequency, and choosing pleasure. Not because you were given it, but because you battled for it. People do not anticipate forgiveness to be like that. They consider it a weakness. They do sense something heavenly in you. However, they recognize a calm authority that cannot be manufactured. They don't realize that your glow comes from spiritual discipline, that your tranquility came at a cost, and that choosing not to be bitter was the most potent anti-aging choice you've made. Number 7, you've starved parasites. That explains why you appear so different today. You used to go around fatigued for no apparent reason, not just drowsy, but depleted, as if your life energy was being sucked out in secret. And it was because you were surrounded by individuals who did not grow to love you. They came to feast off you. They required your light, attention, understanding, and unwavering availability. They weren't seeking to develop with you. They were attempting to survive through you. For a long time, you let them. Not out of weakness, but out of loyalty, out of heart. You assumed there was love, but it was really leaking. Then came the moment when everything changed. You severed the cord when you'd had enough. Your body sensed it before your head did. You slept deeper. Your expression relaxed. Your radiance returned because those energy parasites were not only messing with your spirit, they were gradually depleting your physical vigor. Your nervous system was always on overdrive, attempting to feel their moods, resolve their mess, or walk on eggshells. Stress aged individuals quickly. However, as you separated, your whole system breathed for the first time in years, and the effect was apparent. You began to look like yourself again. So the version of you who was going beyond with giving and continually rescuing individuals who had no intention of improving your skin seemed cleaner. Your eyes became sharper. You weren't surviving anymore. You were reclaiming. Because once you stopped feeding other people's demons, you had enough energy to nurture your own soul. That explains why you appear different today. That is why people are surprised when they see you. You're no longer being utilized. Your vitality has returned to you, and it's showing. The same individuals who used to feed on you are now wondering what happened, how you become so glowing, refreshed, and magnetic. The truth, you did not just shift your circle. You closed the buffet. Number 8, you restored your actual identity, and your body followed. Living a falsehood causes more than just mental distress. It distorts your whole existence. And for a long time, you carried identities that were not actually yours. The dutiful kid, the people pleaser, the overachiever is the fixer, the quiet one, roles you were either pushed into or believed you had to play in order to live. However, their responsibilities came at a cost. Your body sensed something was wrong. It stiffened up. It darkened itself. It bore the weight of faking. Even if you seemed to be in good shape on the surface, something felt amiss on the inside, as if your mirror did not give the whole tale. That is because it was not you. Then something within snapped or maybe clicked. You became bored of bending. I'm tired of smiling despite my agony. You were tired of being appetizing, digestible, and safe, so you began taking away the layers gradually. You questioned the scripts you were given. You restored your voice, emotions, sexuality, culture, and truth. And as each layer of fake identity came away, something wonderful started to emerge. you and your body. It observed your stance, adjusted your stride, changed your expression, and lit up with the type of strength that only comes from knowing who the heck you are. Your skin began to reflect alignment. Your voice had more weight. Your presence changed since you were no longer performing. You were embodying. An embodiment does not only look nice, it glows. That is why you resemble someone who has been reincarnated. Because in many ways you have. You released the untruth, and your body released the weight. You stopped bearing guilt that wasn't your own. You stopped stretching yourself to fit in, and now you seem lighter, freer, and fuller. Not because you altered who you are, but because you have finally returned to who you were always intended to be, and the shine that everyone keeps raving about. That is not skincare. That's the truth. Number 9, you went through flames without smelling of smoke. People look at you today and marvel how you walk with such ease, elegance, and unwavering confidence. Despite all you've gone through, they remember the tales, the battles, and the flames you went through. And yet, when people look at you, they see nothing but brightness, no scars, no bitterness, and no evidence that you were ever touched by fire. It does not stack up in their thoughts. They intended you to be scorched, marked, and toughened. Instead, you emerged with a brilliance that caused them to reconsider all they thought they understood about survival. What they don't realize is that you didn't just survive. You have transcended. Others disintegrate under strain, becoming bitter and weathered by life's storms. You emerged entire. It was not luck. It wasn't a coincidence. It was divine preservation. You were protected. Others worried that the fire would devour them. It became the furnace that cleansed, sculpted, and strengthened you. Every challenge, betrayal, and heartache provided a chance for improvement, not destruction. The suffering did not break your spirit. It clarified it. And since you went through the fires with your spirit intact, your integrity and tranquility unshaken, you don't bear the same residue as others. There is no bitterness, hatred, or victimization. These are the things that stick to humans and age them quicker than any wrinkle could. But you wouldn't let it stick. You did not let the flames to swallow your essence. You let it burn away, everything that wasn't really you. Now you go through the world unaffected, untouchable, and more luminous than ever. And while everyone is still wondering how you got out so unscathed, you know the truth. The fire did not destroy you. It was the very thing that prepared you for success. Number 10, you were concealed for a season so that you might grow old without being corrupted while the rest of the world sought glory and approval. You were put in a calm cocoon, a location where no one could touch you and your genuine nature could develop unhindered. People couldn't see it, and they definitely didn't comprehend it. To them, you seemed invisible, insignificant, and even forgotten. But what they didn't understand was that you were being protected, guarded from the early exposure that so many people fall prey to, while others were thrown into poisonous relationships, rushed to stardom, or exposed to a world that devours the unprepared. You were being carefully nurtured like a rare plant in a secret garden. That period of solitude was not punishment. This was heavenly protection. You were incubating while the rest of the world progressed at its own wild speed. You were not rushed. You were not obliged to follow someone else's timetable. You were given time to develop, adapt, and reinforce your foundation before you were thrust into the limelight. And when you eventually escaped from that cocoon, everyone was startled. You didn't just appear different. You seemed undisturbed. You seemed to have gone through the fire and emerged unhurt. What they don't realize is that all those years of being hidden from the spotlight, all those moments of being overlooked, were exactly what kept your beauty, mind, and spirit intact, whereas others had already been worn down by exposure, the weight of fame, or unhealthy relationships. You were becoming stronger, smarter, and more dazzling in your alone. You didn't have to cope with the corruption that comes with early success or the disappointment that aged individuals too soon. You were given the opportunity to grow into your most powerful self away from the distractions of the world. And now that you've resurfaced, they have no idea how to handle it. They don't understand how you came back stronger, younger, and more appealing. The truth, you did not age. You achieved a higher level. And the most valuable present you received was your safety. They're now looking at you, perplexed, as you demonstrate what true undisturbed development looks like. Number 11, you defied cultural norms and it kept your character. You could have followed the crowd. You might have succumbed to the urge to pursue young, to keep up with everyone else, always attempting to establish your value by what you had, how you looked, or who you went out with. But you didn't. While society was preoccupied with pursuing transitory pleasure, superficial prestige, and continual distraction, you took a step back. You choose to avoid the scramble for external validation or the never-ending search of the next trend, which are fake measures of success that leave people exhausted and unfulfilled. You did not revere youth in the manner the society expected you to. You did not allow society to define your value solely on appearance or brief moments of outward acknowledgement. You weren't at every party, following the latest trends and seeking acceptance from hollow circles. You weren't looking for the next big thing simply because it was hot. Instead, you opted to concentrate on what was important. You focused your efforts on things that nurtured your spirit, development, and peace. You made time for genuine connection, healing, and authentic experiences that enabled you to organically progress by stepping outside of the traditional narrative. You kept a deeper aspect of your nature. While everyone else was racing about attempting to catch up, you were quietly preserving your spirit. The world promised beauty, but instead gave exhaustion. It promised freedom, but ended in weariness. You saw through it. Your resistance was not against anything as trivial as fashion or celebrity. It was a protest against losing oneself. And that decision didn't only save you time. It kept your soul's freshness. Now, others are exhausted, caught up in cycles of comparison and superficial interests. You demonstrate the power of living outside of cultural norms. You are completely fresh. You are still rooted in your truth. And you don't appear any older than when you decided to prioritize yourself above the noise. Your disobedience was not just an act of revolt. It was the secret to timelessness. Number 12, you aged with awareness, not chronology. While many individuals concentrate on the exterior, seeking outward markers of beauty, following trends, and searching for methods to remain youthful, you've taken a completely other path. You did not age according to the calendar. You aged via choice, awareness, and purposeful progress, while others were fixated on remaining in the same spot, clutching youth like a badge of pride. You let time work its magic in the most profound ways. You allowed it to develop your character, so each year wasn't simply another number to you. It was an additional layer of insight, a change in awareness. You didn't just collect years. You gained comprehension. Every hardship, grief, and learning you encountered enriched you. Your progress was not linear. It wasn't simply about survival or endurance. It was about evolution. Each passing year provided greater clarity, tranquility, and self-awareness. You saw life through a different perspective. You did not just go through the motions. You evolved with each event, revealing deeper dimensions of who you actually are. That's why you don't resemble everyone else. Your classmates are aging, based on the conventional storyline, locked in a cycle of consuming, continuously seeking external solutions to internal issues. As you ascend, you age. You didn't merely become older. You become smarter, more complete, and closer to your genuine self. Your energy, presence, and vibration represent the depth you have achieved. People sense it when they are around you. Being in sync with your soul gives you a feeling of serenity, knowing, tranquility, and confidence. As a consequence, you don't just seem youthful in the way society defines it. You seem alive, bright, and brilliant in a manner that goes beyond the physical. Others dread and strive to prevent the aging process, but you welcome it because you understand that true youthfulness comes from inside. It is the result of conscious living, not chronology. That's why you stand out. Number 13. You don't look your age because you weren't allowed to experience it for so long. You were compelled to live on perpetual defense. You did not have the luxury of living freely or dangerously. Like others, you were preoccupied with meeting the wants of others, protecting yourself from danger, or attempting to achieve approval that was never genuinely yours in the first place. You were always playing catch-up, always in a condition of survival, never allowed the opportunity to breathe, relax, or just be. Time is gone. Yes, but you didn't get the opportunity to live it the way you were supposed to. You were not given the carefree periods that others had, when they could just develop and enjoy life without the weight of perpetual strife. You did not get to live like your contemporaries, carefree and unbound. No, you were too busy defending yourself, keeping others together, and pushing through to get by. And as a result, life did not turn out as you had hoped. It was not a free-flowing path of pleasure and discovery. It felt more like running a marathon with weights tied to your body. But now, God is now returning. What was taken from you? Years of lost pleasure, independence, and authenticity are returning to you in unexpected ways. What others saw as squandered or lost time is now reflected on your face in the most dazzling, effortless manner. The years did not reveal any traces of remorse or hardship. They came with clarity, calm, and vibrancy. The weight you formerly carried, the toll it had on your body and mind, has given way to a lightness and beauty that can only come from being free of the past. Years are no longer a measure of difficulty now that you've regained yourself, quit acting for survival, and started living for yourself. They are a testament to your tenacity, courage, and rebirth. You do not seem to have gone through the fire. You seem to have thrived as a result. The vitality, pleasure, and freedom that was previously taken away from you are now visible in every aspect of you. That's why you seem ageless, because the years you couldn't live freely before have returned as a bright gift. Number 14. Your body reflects a soul with no expiry date. You've always knew there was more to you than what the eye could see. The world sees aging as a countdown to impending degradation. You've been tapping into something considerably more deep, a timeless quality that transcends the physical realm's laws. Your body does not follow the typical aging trends because your spirit operates on a different schedule. You've made a connection with something everlasting, something that lives beyond the physical constraints of time and space. The reality is, your soul does not age. It does not wrinkle, droop, or fade with time. It just extends, increases, and deepens, evolving in ways that the rest of the world cannot fully understand. This is why you don't look your age. You're not resisting time in the manner most people assume. You've surpassed it. You've escaped its clutches and aligned with a frequency that does not measure value in years or appearances. Your demeanor, vitality, and clarity of vision all reflect this spiritual reality. Time has no grasp. You and others sense it when they are near you. It's almost as if you came from another realm, unaffected by the same forces that age and wear down others. You are not adhering to the principles of physical deterioration. You've advanced to a level where such rules no longer apply. What people see as a miracle is only the natural outcome of your strong spiritual connection. Time does not damage the core of your spirit. That is why you do not appear as people expect you to. You've tapped into something beyond the material world. Your body is only a receptacle for an ageless, everlasting soul. And it shows. People are unable to figure it out because they are seeking the secret in the tangible. When the fact is, your light emanates from a spirit that is infinite, immutable, and timeless. Finally, what genuinely distinguishes you is more than simply your appearance. It is the depth, knowledge, and unfathomable power that radiates from your entire nature. Your eternal quality is not an accident, nor is it a flimsy win against the passage of time. It is a reflection of the work you've done inside yourself, the battles you've battled, the truths you've discovered, and the spiritual trip you've on. While the rest of the world seeks transient moments of outward approval and clings to youth as if it were a valuable commodity, you discovered something much better. An everlasting spirit, a bright vitality that only becomes stronger with time. You have overcome the difficulties, trials, and loneliness. And each encounter has improved you rather than worn you down. Your beauty is more than just skin deep. It is the product of a well-lived life, an unbroken spirit, and a heart that will not succumb to bitterness. What people see as your young glow is really a reflection of your inner tranquility, clarity, and unwavering belief that life is not about defying time. It's about accepting its lessons and evolving with them. So, when they wonder how you've escaped the laws of aging, realize that the answer isn't avoiding time. It is about surpassing it. You've become a live, breathing example of what occurs when you let your soul develop, when you emphasize spiritual nutrition above material needs. And by doing so, you've unlocked the type of beauty that never fades, the sort that only becomes deeper and brighter with time. This is your truth. This is your gift. And the world may never really comprehend it, but that's okay. You are not here to meet their expectations. You are here to show them what is possible. When you choose to progress, rise, and live with a soul that never expires. If this message connected with you and you sense the power of your own eternal nature, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to the channel to remain updated with new material that reminds you of your great value and potential. If you feel empowered, hit the like button and leave a comment below. I'd love to hear about your opinions and experiences. Share this with someone who needs to hear this truth, because trust me, there is someone out there who wants to know that their soul, like yours, is everlasting. Let's continue to share the light, knowledge, and timeless energy together. Keep glowing. God bless you. Dear viewers, your support through Super Chat and membership is the only source of income that keeps this channel running. If you want me to continue uploading valuable content without delays and to stay motivated in providing you with the best wisdom, I need your help. Every contribution, big or small, makes a huge difference. Feel free to donate and support Pure Wisdom so we can keep growing together. Your generosity keeps this journey alive.